Start stream. InkBlot here. That needs to go away. That needs to go away. So does this. Okay, InkBlot here. Jeez. Okay. That should be that. And I think what we need the lo-fi girl YouTube. YouTube lo-fi. Okay, lo-fi girl. It just should be live. It sounds super loud. Okay. I'm gonna mute that. Okay. And then let's start this stream, yeah? Go live. Edit scene. I think I gotta go to browser source. It should be game capture. Let's see. I think I'm missing something here. And I need to go ahead and get I need to have the thing. Game capture, hide layer. Where can I change the thing? Lock layer, hide layer. Add scene. Probably this. Chat. Webcam. It's definitely. How do we do that? Hey everyone, I'm still setting up. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to figure out where my layer went. Oh, okay. Wait a second. I think I got it. Just yeah. Please give it back. Let's see. I think that will be fine right there, hopefully. And this should look okay over here. Yeah. Let's see. And I don't know what is that doing? Browser source. So, we are trying to get the Ko-Fi thing over there, and I'm going to start in a couple of minutes. I know I'm a little late, but trying to get this layer done. Let's see. Just trying to get this Ko-Fi layer alert thingy done. And how's the music? I don't know if can anyone hear the music? Is it too loud? If it's too loud, let me know. Super sorry about that. Call to action, background, transparency, animated layover. As a browser source. Okay. So sorry, I suck at these. Music is faint. Oh yeah, if I listen hard, I can hear it. Okay, all right, yeah. I just want to make sure that. Hey, how are you? Just want to make sure that everyone can hear. Make yourself a little louder. The music's fine, but you're a bit quiet with stream on 100% volume. Okay. Let me see. Let's see. I don't know. Okay. Fine. Okay. Is that any better? Um, is that any better or no? It's the most quiet option now. Oh, I'm the worst at this. Oh, you're louder. Okay, is it too loud? Hood now? Oh, good now. No, it's fine. Okay, thanks, Ian King. Thank you so much. I'm the worst at these. I just need to transfer. I need to get the Ko-Fi thing up and then start the Twitter space, and we can get started. That way, we don't waste anyone's valuable time here, because I do appreciate everyone that wants to speak and everyone that wants to tune in. So, just give me 1 second here. Let's see, we got this, okay. And I don't really want to share the screen with that. Let's see, probably didn't do too much. This is, Setsuna, please. Thank you, honey. That was, you like this chair. And I can tell it's not gonna last long, that's for sure. Let's see. Alright, here we go. Bento, honey, please be nice. She hasn't even been here for more than 3 days. Okay. What we want to do here is we want to add the stream thingies. Okay, cool. Paste this into as a browser source. Okay. I should have did this. I applied for mod, but it was here. Want to know if I'm down for volunteer. Just want. Well, give me 1 moment, Tin Can Crab. I will answer your question in just a second. Enter embed on a created link layer and okay. Just a second here. I don't know how that shows up or if it shows up, but hopefully it does. Hopefully. Who knows? Okay, so. Alrighty then, yeah. Let's get this done. Reload when it's visible. Okay, so that's that, and then I think we're good to go. I don't know how those alerts came up before, but we are going to... There we go. That's what I was looking for. I am so not great at Twitch. It's gotta happen. We have to have these discussions live. So if anyone decides, I'm going to start the Twitter space. If anyone decides that they want to join the Twitter space and speak as a speaker, just know that these things are being recorded. It's definitely something that I have to say. But otherwise, hi, hello. Thank you for everyone that's coming in. I'm Jay. I go by the pronouns of he, they. I'm InkBlot's founder. So yeah, just we'll get that started. We'll get this started. Oh, I can see the chat now. Hi. Bento, be nice. Sorry, I got a new kitten, and obviously everyone has to adjust. Volume's fine. Okay, hi. I applied for mod, but it was paid, but I want to know I'm also down for volunteer. I just went for paid because of the less hours. Yeah, we just filled in today. We just filled in our last support slot, and I'll be announcing that once everyone is onboarded and comfortable. But yeah, we are still looking for mod positions, but being a mod with us, you know, there's when there becomes opportunities in the future to join the support team in like paid positions, those will definitely be up for grabs for everyone. But if you're a moderator with us already, you know, you kind of like already know how we do things. You're established in the company already, even though it's volunteer. So you know, do highly suggest that you know if you check us out, feel us out, volunteer with us. And then, the volunteers are only 3 months at a time. That way no one's stuck being where they're at. And yeah, so, basically there is opportunities to join the team as a, as a paid position in the future. And yeah, so one of our mods did that already. So we're happy to have them on board. And, it does make the process a little easier when vetting people to trust and join the team. Because yeah, hopefully that answers your question. I'm so sorry, but yeah, I am still doing basically rolling applications for the moderator team. I just had to onboard who I already took on board from last week, so I'm going to be doing more interviews next week because obviously we have the holiday. So yeah. Don't worry about the scruffiness of the screen. I think adjusting mid-stream is par for the course is going live. Is there scruffiness, or what do you mean like from earlier? Should we reapply for mod for volunteer? Yeah, I mean you can. You should, yeah, because they're two different things. So I even had folks apply that were applying for mod that wanted to apply for the support team. I made them reapply again. We do everything on the books. I literally need a paper trail. Yeah, so in terms of like processes and procedures, definitely we got to do it. Oh, okay. Yeah, you meant from earlier? Yeah, no problem. All right, folks. We have an agenda today, and I got to stay on track. I do love chatting with you all, but we have to get the Twitter space started. Setsuna, yeah, you actually, your username actually inspired me to name the new kitty. So I'm going to show the kitty, and then we're going to get this Twitter space started because we have an important agenda today to talk about accessibility on InkBlot. So I'm going to show the kitty in like 5 seconds. 1 second. Come here. Okay. This is the new kitty. Yes. Her name is Setsuna. From what I've researched, it was the word of in the moment. I did not plan for this kitty. This kitty was not supposed to be here, but I could not see the person that was going to throw her out. I could not see them throwing this little adorable 4-month-old to the street. So this is Setsuna, and she's super gentle. Okay, down to business. Let's do this. And I'm plugging my phone in this time. For those that know, the last Twitter space, my phone died. And that's how that went. So, we're making sure that all the bases are covered this time. Let's see. Let's get this going. Oh, not this making me type it all in. Okay. Community discussion. Okay. Live on Twitch. Accessibility. Accessibility feeds. Okay. So we have that, and then we want to do. Oh, we want to do arts. Arts. We don't want to do concept art, visual arts, and then we also anything for community maybe. I'm just gonna leave it at technology. So let's just put Twitch in there too. Okay, we're gonna record this space, and then this is gonna start. So InkBlot community discussion live on Twitch. I was about to say in Twitch. Live on Twitch, and then accessibility feeds. So, all right, cool. Oh, let me just put talking about accessibility. I think that's good enough. Talking about accessibility. Okay, cool. Alrighty then. I think we had two speakers lined up. I just gotta remember where to find them. I think one of them's in the chat. I gotta just make sure everyone's okay. And again, if you want to speak, you can join the space when you do want to speak. Just request to speak, and we'll go from there. Yeah. Just want to. We're talking about accessibility here on InkBlot today. We do have the feedback board, but the whole major thing with that is that yes, like we're prioritizing accessibility and we're going ahead and doing everything like that. In terms of UI, in terms of offering settings so that you can turn off animations and also enlarging the text based off of the operating system default settings and things like that. But there has been some suggestions that have kind of been more of a unique case, I suppose. So basically, I've seen some folks mention when people have decorated profiles and things like that, or even just like right now we have it so that everyone can choose their colors and things like that for their profiles, which is great and grand and all. But I did have people mention making the profiles accessible, and then also there's some instances where it might be too bright, or the colors that person might choose might be too bright. So might even have to make it so that there's a option for neon stuff, where there might be an option so that you can off the counter off. Make it so that we allow it so that folks can have it so that the settings are ignored, the profile settings are ignored, so that neon stuff doesn't happen. So because we can have it so that it's ignored. Obviously it would only be ignored for that user or that current user that toggles that type of setting. Does that make sense? I mean, it's just something that I've seen in passing, so it's just not. It's not something that I think is because there's features the UI and text enlargement, that's a staple feature for accessibility and stuff. But our use case for InkBlot would be the profile colors is not, it's unique, you know what I mean? So there's some things that genuinely we have to think about. And I'm so sorry, let me get this Twitter space all set up, and just get that done. So sorry with all the bells, that's the new kitten running around. So just trying to get that going. So let me just double check. This was, I I spoke to 2 folks about being a speaker. Okay, cool. So we have one of those, and then also, okay, cool. Oh, I got the username wrong. Okay, cool. So it's Grip, Griptillion, I think. There we go. And then we had another folk that also asked, and I think she's in the chat here with us, but I'm also sending a little invite. So it's MH. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. There we go. Alright. Oh, I see. We have one request already from that person, and then okay. All right, so if anyone is new listening in here, again, just, we're doing this for as a community discussion.
Oops, I think I have an echo on you.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, I will mute myself whenever you want to speak. So just 1 second, let me set this up really quick, and then you will take it from there. Is that okay?
Yeah, I have you on Twitch on my TV and Twitter on my phone, so.
Okay, yeah, I'll mute whenever we get to your part that you want to speak here on the stream. I'll mute myself. That way there is no. Oh, okay, okay, I see it. I see what's going on here. Okay, I understand. I'm on mute here. Okay, cool. I see what's happening. Okay. So yeah, just if you could mute yourself for right now, and then we'll go from there. Is that all right? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. I just want to get the one day that we have this stream and my cats want to be all over the place. Let's see. So we have that, and I just want to make sure everyone knows about this space. Everyone has a chance, and then we'll go ahead and do this. All right, that's a quick tweet. Okay. All right, so yes, again, so everything, I have a little form just in case anyone is too shy. And you don't even have to be shy. You might not want to be bothered to go on the Twitter space to speak. I have a little form here for folks to go ahead and fill out, so that you can send something, just in case we don't touch base on something that you have in mind. If anything comes to mind, of course, reach out and let us know. So just 1 second here. I'll get that in the chat, and then let me just make sure everyone's doing okay. Welcome in everyone. Okay, so it was making sense. Okay, I see it on Toy House far too often. For people put on an epilepsy warning right next to flashing gifs. Ew, yikes. Yeah. Yeah, and that's like one of the things that we want to do is like little page dolls. If for those that don't know, I am a DA head. So what I mean by that is basically I was on DeviantArt for a long time, at least 10 plus years. So I do remember all of the kind of profile design and everything like that. So that's something that I'm familiar with. And we do want to do more profile customization. And the page dolls is something that I think that we can start with. It's kind of like, low maintenance, not something that something that we can throw in. I want to do things that we can throw in while we're working on the major features, and obviously, the basic features, making sure everything's stable. So I figured just throwing in a couple of things, the page dolls being one of them. But it would just be based off of upload, right? So it's something that we would have to keep an eye on. And obviously, recommend that folks don't send like, gifts and page dolls that could hurt people's eyes, and, a warning. So, we have to make sure that that's not happening, because that's not cool. So, just 1 second here for me. Let's see. And we have that going on. I have this thing, and this be the Q&A. Oh, there it is. Yes. Okay. And if I go here, and then just have to clear this inbox out, and then I'm going to put the link in the chat there for everybody to be able to, you know, submit something, and we should be good to go. Change copy block link, open block, new tab, and then okay, cool. Let's yeah, let me just two blocks setting, and then yeah, so we'll just go from there. Okay, so I'll put that in a couple of seconds. Is it Sydney or Setsuna?
Either is fine.
Okay, you tell me, and then also just your pronouns. That way we can make sure we start off on the right foot here.
My pronouns are she, her, and Setsuna is great.
Okay, sounds good. All right, yeah. So was there anything in particular that you wanted to start off with in terms of like accessibility and you know, I'm not asking for any disclosure or anything like that in terms of anything in terms of like disabilities or anything like that. You just let me know what would make InkBlot more accessible for you, and obviously we're here to speak to disabled creators, but no one has to disclose that. It's definitely something that if you want to remain private, that's fine with you.
Absolutely. And my life is an open book. I actually am the chair of the Employee Resource Group where I work as the Disability and Mental Health Advocates Group.
Wow. Okay.
So more than happy to share my story. Okay. But one of the things that I do as a part of my job is I actually help review disability compatibility.
Oh, really?
So the first thing that comes to mind for me is, are you making sure that the site is W3C and WCAG compliant?
Okay, expand on that a little bit for me.
It's basically a bunch of agreed upon minimums for accessibility for sites. So that includes things like color contrast checking, alt text, screen readers. You can have a rating between A and AAA. Okay. And AA is sort of like you're hitting all the standards.
I see. Okay. So, wow. Alrighty. Well, that I think, in terms of like doing my own research, I don't know why that's not more familiar with me. Can you mention what those names were again?
It's W3C and WCAG.
And WCAG. Okay, and this will give me all the information I need for the, I'm supposing, the features that you mentioned, like the alt text, the screen readers, and things like that.
Yeah. Color contrast was something that I was actually thinking of as you were talking about people's profiles. I love that I can customize my profile, but I also recognize that there are people with vision disturbances and color blindness. So some of the apps that I have used in the past have had like a kind of a kill switch on customizations that will force the site into black and white mode, or into a mode where it strips away that personalization, and that would make it something so that if I have that problem or if I can't see certain colors, I can turn those off and make it easier to see the. Apologies, my phone just rang. I can make it easier to see people's profiles if they're using colors that I wouldn't be able to see.
That's so that sounds amazing, actually. That's definitely something that can be done easily. I suppose the only thing is we probably have to just kind of like completely block off, like, because each color right now, if we go off of hex codes and things like that, we would just have to block off like all of the hex codes for like purple or something like that. But the black and white mode sounds far more easier. But the color blindness in terms of like folks not being able to see it, you understand my point. It's doable. And I'm just kind of thinking from like a dev perspective, of what could be done, like visibility conditions, like, actually thinking like booleans and things like that, like stuff like that, like actually code things. So forgive me, my mind is like going 5 miles a minute. But yeah, that's that's a lot of useful information just now. And I'm so sorry that I wasn't more familiar with the Web C3 and the AG one. Did you have any more points to bring up there?
Um, just another piece on epilepsy. There are lots of different kinds of epilepsy, lots of different triggers, and I am more than happy to share that I am someone with epilepsy. I'm not photosensitive, so I can't speak to tools for GIFs and flashing because I don't have much experience with that. But just kind of bear in mind that some people are set off by certain frequencies when it comes to sound, and I know that sound is something that is going to be coming soon. There is also things like a certain scrolling speed that can set people off. The just kind of things to put brakes on and bumpers around so that you're never in danger of setting off a certain kind of epilepsy. Yeah, I see somebody, Tin Can Crab on chat and Twitch is saying that they don't have epilepsy, but they have migraines, and that's something that happens as well. A lot of us folks with epilepsy also get migraines, so I feel you there, Tin Can Crab.
Okay. Wow. Obviously, I'm, I do not, these are not something that I would be familiar with. So, I'm learning a lot right now. So I'm really happy to have this discussion. A lot of folks, again, don't feel free to join the Twitter space, or I'm trying to get this thing out so you can speak anonymously if you want, and let us know what you're thinking and how you can join on this discussion. But wow, we haven't even really gotten like a few minutes into this, and I'm learning a lot right now, and things that features that are just you know that I would have never thought, like sound frequency. I would have never thought of something like that. Having an effect on someone. And shame on me, really. But yeah, no, that's. Thank you so much. Anything else? I mean, don't feel rushed. Even you can come back and speak with us again, while we're having this stream. So don't feel rushed or anything.
Not at all. I've been thinking about this all day.
Oh, that's good. Oh, I mean that. You know what I mean.
Yeah. The other thing that I had in mind is that I have a hand tremor from time to time, and some days it's worse, some days it's good. So when it comes to app usage, especially, anything that requires fine motor skills is kind of a pain. Like if you're talking about like if I need to drag something, or I've noticed that kind of for lack of a better term, the hit boxes in the app have been a little weird at times, where like I've tried to like something and I missed it, so I have to hit somewhere else. And I know that there's an open enhancement for being able to click on a user's name as well as their picture. So, just kind of making sure that there are large enough buttons so that those of us who aren't exactly precise with our fingers can hit, what we want to without hitting something else.
Right. No, that's a great point. Yeah. And I think there's just even some going through all of the widgets and things like that basically frequent reoccurring UI. Basically, what I mean by the widgets is something that can be easily done and made sure that those hitboxes are large enough. And that's definitely something that with the app, I know it's a little bit crowded. I know that the UI can be improved, and I think that we should keep that in mind in terms of like hitboxes as well. And yeah, no, that's really good information as well. I saw some feedback mentioned tremors as well, so you're certainly not the first. Sorry, the cat is climbing my chair.
I'm also very honored to be the one who inspired the name. So,
Yeah.
hi, Setsuna.
Yeah, she says hi too. Yeah, no, I mean, your username came to mind because there is, some usernames that are more that come up more frequently than others. And especially shout out to my first 50 beta testers when I first opened InkBlot up for beta testing. I remember every one of your names when it comes up. So, but yeah, no, there's just some frequent names, and I know Setsuna was one of them, and I was like, this is my first girl cat. So, but not to get off topic here, but I think I remember you're in the Discord, so we'll talk more about the cat later. But yeah, no, the hand tremors was one thing that actually came up, and that I do remember. But again, there's people that do mention, some things, that we could work on, but they don't go into detail. So having this type of discussion and be like, okay, so, this person has tremors. What would you see that can help, with someone that does have tremors? And you answered my question, hitboxes. I mean, you know, obviously, that should be obvious for a lot of, maybe some other developers, but, you know, again, when I made InkBlot, I just started coding. I didn't know a lick of code. I was definitely I'm just a hobbyist artist that was just looking for a new home, and wanted to make it, himself. So, you know, that's something that our senior developer probably knows all about, hitboxes, and making sure that they're big enough, and what we need to do to make sure they're sizing. But he wouldn't know why, because I am the person that comes and brings the user feedback into the dev board. Like, he'll explain something, and even just this morning we were talking about the profile pictures, for the page, and he was like, oh well, maybe we should, install like a box border around it. So then I had to show him what all of the profiles look like, and how some folks use like PNGs or transparent icons, and it makes it look really cool. And he was like, all of a sudden he was like, no, let's not do that. He's like, these look so pretty, I don't want to mess that up. So I take the user feedback and I install it into InkBlot, into the code, basically. So taking this discussion and basically conceptualizing it, and executing it, basically. So it's really important to have these discussions, and I appreciate, that a lot. So I don't want to talk too much. Was there anything else? And if, you're gonna stay as a speaker in this, space, so if anything else comes up to mind, just, I think you can raise your hand. I think there's a way to raise your hand, and just let me know.
Yeah, mostly just thank you. I think it's great that you're thinking of accessibility. I know a lot of people think of accessibility as extra steps, but it's really, mostly missteps, actually, because there's building accessibility into a platform is always better than trying to backfill it. So I'm really glad that this is something you're doing now.
Yes.
And the only other thing that I want to say is I've noted a few times you've said, like, disabled people, disabled creators. It's not universal, so don't feel super bad, but most folks like people first language. So, like, I am a creator with a disability. I am a person with a disability, not the other way around.
No, totally understand that, and that's my fault. Yeah, it's completely on me. I am so sorry. I'll make sure that my language is more proper and, respectful in that regards.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to go on mute and let somebody else talk now.
Sure, yeah. Thank you so much. Just 1 second here. Trying to get this form out. This should work fine. There we go. Okay, there we go. That should work. And then drag this down here. Okay. So, please, hon. Please. The chair is not for you. Okay, I think this should work here, and this is completely anonymous. So, chat here, we have this anonymous form here, so folks are allowed to send in their own submissions, just in case you don't want to speak, but you still want to, of course, speak in a different medium. Yeah, of course. Let's see. Just want to make sure we have that in chat. Here you go. The volume starts out low when the video is played. Okay, let me know if that gives you any difficulties, okay, chat? I know I'm not paying attention when someone else is talking, because obviously I need to pay attention to who is talking. But yeah, let me just catch up on here. Depending on how often you go live on Twitch, make sure to ask for mods for the Twitch chat from your team. It's just about keeping chat rules, but also they'll post important links and reminders so you don't have to multitask. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't, that's it. Stuff like that's not in the job description. So, I'm a person wearing multiple hats. So I try not to ask for too much help for people that, only came to help for one thing. Having audio be off for videos by default would be great. Also, having autoplay off by default would be great. Yes, we don't have videos play automatically. Right now, we have it so that there's a video preview. So folks are able to just, they have to open the post in order to see the post. So that, I'll keep that in mind though. Because I know with platform updates, just in case, I don't know. It's just not something I want to forget. Because this is going on the dev board as a little list before we start our discussions. That way we remember, like, okay, this is going to affect that, so that's probably not going to work. Or, okay, this is going to affect that, so we need to make sure that this also is compatible with this feature that keeps accessibility available. Photosensitive here. This also is a range, as I can handle slow flashing GIFs and some fast flashing if the colors aren't bright and jarring. So yeah, autoplay for GIFs in vid is helpful. Or autoplay off. Okay, understood. Maybe signing up, making an account, those can be basic settings when you walk through. Yes, we have to actually make a lot of settings. We're going to make a whole modal or window available after you sign up. That's something that we had a suggestion from it was our last Twitter space, I think. And that's something that we have to do because, I don't know why, it's just not something that, again, we're kind of like a jack of all trades, me and the other dev. So, user experience, user flows, things like that is not something that we're an expert on. We know about, we can kind of anticipate a little bit, but do we, are we an expert in that? No. So, I can go ahead and do another audit because we did do a UI audit with a UI expert, which he tore us an absolute new one. But, it helped. It improved the site a lot. The feedback after we made those improvements from his expertise was absolutely amazing. So, we can audit. We can have an external audit from a UX expert, but would they be on board the entire time? No, because we don't have the budget for that. So, we'll have an audit so that someone comes in, gives us an audit, lets us know what we can work on, make those changes, and then of course just keep going in terms of like asking for some help. Keep asking for help until hopefully we can get to the point where we have our own UI UX expert on the team, and that would be amazing. That way, there's somebody that can make sure that we're doing things right the first time always. Have disabled animated icons on Discord because people aren't very caring about me saying don't upload a rave party. Yeah, I even had someone mention something like that during one of my D&D campaigns. One of the players had put in some type of moving, flashing GIF, and that was something that I don't think it's not improper to say don't do that, because that's your health involved and others as well. One thing I would say is have videos or sound be on pause when a person goes to check out a video. Sound, yes, we did, yep. As a person with sensitive ears, a loud sound at the very start can scare me. Yes, totally. Yeah, I have that written down for the autoplay for sound and video, and now GIFs. Okay, I can. Let's see. All right, and then let's see. So having the right, I want to make sure I write that down too. Having the settings like these, accessibility ones, and just settings in general. Settings at right after sign up. To make sure that that's something that you see first, instead of digging around. Yeah, let's see. I guess so. Not something that I can turn off the character limit. It's based off of the. Yeah, it's based off of basically the system that I'm using. So I'll keep that in mind. So sorry about that. If you have to, the replies are enabled, so you can go ahead and you know what I mean. You can go ahead and reply to yourself in case you have extra words that you want to make into that reply. Is it possible to have the Twitter space in the corner somewhere? It's not working for me on Twitter. It would be nice to watch it from here to see who's talking. Let me see. I can add that. But we do have another speaker, so I just want to make sure that we don't waste anyone's time here. So just need to run through these comments, and that's a great suggestion for us to do even now and in the future for other Twitter spaces that we do with our Twitch spaces. Right. Yeah, Violet, yes. Your settings idea being in the front is definitely, after you sign up, is definitely something we're going to take input on there. We are uploading and updating the mobile apps tomorrow. So obviously they won't be approved by the App Store tomorrow right away. Hopefully, hopefully before Thanksgiving, but it's definitely something that I'm going to go ahead and message the senior dev and let him know, hey, could you throw this in here really quick? Could you throw in, doing that settings window right after sign up, and see if he can throw that in there really quick. Otherwise, we'll have to do it in the next update. But again, the urgency that I'm trying to display here is that this feedback is going right into the code after the stream is done. Sorry, kitty. So, yeah. So anyway, let me see. Is it Cryptillion?
Yep.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Okay, I'm Jay. I go by the pronouns of he, they, and just a preferred name or, a username that I could refer to you as?
Yeah, so I'm Maddie. My pronouns are she, he, they.
Okay.
I'm happy to be here today.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah. So, as I think you were in here when Setsuna was talking, and you kind of understand, I'm not looking here to interrupt you at all. You can literally keep going if you so wish. If something comes up, just let me know. But yeah, if there's anything on your mind when you think about accessibility with InkBlot.
Yeah, so to branch off of what was already said, something that I really wanted to see was definitely some sort of censored filter or something over posts available for artists to tag for flashing or like extremely saturated colors on either still art or moving art like videos and GIFs. And also I think going off of that, a great accessibility feature would be to give people the ability to just turn off GIFs altogether on the site. I don't know how hard that would be, but just as a feature, if someone just straight up doesn't want to risk it and doesn't want to, come across a GIF that could possibly trigger any issues, that would probably be really helpful. Like for me, I have migraine aura. And so specifically flashing lights, bright lights, saturated, like sudden movements can
trigger that, and it typically will cause me to go temporarily blind for a little bit, or it will maybe sometimes even cause me to pass out. And it's very tricky because, there are some instances where something's spoiler tagged very broadly, and I won't know what it is, so I might click on it thinking, oh, it's probably just a spoiler for a game, and it's something else. So I think having it be a separate tag that someone can check off and it'll explicitly say that would be really helpful.
Okay. That you answered my question about that, because I was going to bring up the creator spoiler, but having an entire separate tag would definitely be something that we can do easily. And again, specifically for like, what do you have anything in mind of what we could call this spoiler type feature?
I would probably say just as have it set as a content warning, and then whatever specifically it is. So maybe it's the case of flashing lights, or maybe it's the case of really bright colors, because for sometimes the animation might not have flashing lights, but it might have really bright colors that are moving across the screen pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. And so, but someone, like was mentioned before, some people are triggered by different things. So I think maybe just having like a separate sub tag with the content warning would be really helpful for people.
Okay. Yeah, no, that can be done.
But yeah, I do have a couple other things.
I'm not cutting you off at all.
I actually wrote some notes down.
Yeah, no, I'm not cutting you off at all. Yeah, no, I just wanted to, because I've already kind of misspoke in my language already, which I'm terribly sorry for. So I just want to be more careful. So when it comes to naming this spoiler, I want to make sure I'm not offending anyone.
Yeah, I think it's tricky because there's definitely some triggers that I don't experience, so I can't necessarily speak for those. So I think having other people's input is really important on that aspect. I think, definitely if people want to put suggestions in for what specifically triggers them, that would definitely probably help for that, because everyone experiences things differently. So I think content warning, I think, is what typically people use, and what I tend to use when I have maybe something that might be kind of bright. So.
Okay. Yeah. Alrighty then. Yeah, because we would have to, because right now currently we use content warnings for basically subjects. So I think.
Let me just see here.
Oh. So sorry.
I also wanted to bring up a separate topic, which is so I have auditory processing issues, and I have hearing loss. And so with the implementation of videos and audio, I think it would be really nice to be able to add closed captions and give an easier option for artists to, add closed captions to their videos before they post, or edit their post if they did, forgot them, and write those in. I think that would be really helpful, especially for me, because especially with animations, if you're trying to understand what a character's saying, or it can be really helpful to have those words on the screen so that you can hear them, or for people that can't hear at all, that would be really helpful for them to be able to actually see what's going on and understand, and be able to understand it like everyone else does, because otherwise there's not really any option for that, I think, right now, as far as I've seen on the site. So I think that would be really great.
No, I agree. I definitely am gonna have to research maybe a different package that we can use, because some of these widgets or these features are based off of the package that we use that's pretty much vetted by Google. So yeah, it'll definitely have to be something that we can do. Some of these, of course, are we can do because it's not based off of a package. Obviously, like me talking about like the hex codes and all the other stuff, that's more something that we build ourselves. Now us building an entire video player, that would take a lot more time. So I can look for another package that offers these features that you're speaking about with the closed captioning. I mean that I do closed captioning for all the devlogs and uploading even to just our YouTube with our town halls and things like that. So that's something that I use quite often. But I guess I, just overlooked that when it comes to adding videos to our own website. You know what I mean? So that's a great point that you bring up, and something that I'll have to do some more research on.
Yeah, so I know that was definitely one of the more difficult things to implement when I thought about it, but I thought it would be something important to bring up. One thing I did forget to mention was branching off of the site styles and profiles being really bright. I think what other sites are doing now is they're just adding an option where you can, across the site, have the site style to be whatever you pick, or whatever the default is, like whether you like light mode or dark mode, and have it so it's consistent across. So I think that would be a really great feature to add.
So we actually do have one of those on our feedback board, and basically making like an entire, I'm thinking it's called a skin or a theme, basically. And we've had that, and it would be easy to do. I mean, we already have our light mode and our dark mode already. It would just be adding another, skin or site theme, basically, to the board, which already the site kind of recognizes and continues to keep the setting for dark mode and light mode. So, I mean, that's just something that we would just pick. We even thought about adding a skin or a site theme that will basically have like open so bad at it. Open dyslexia type of fonts or support. I know that was something that someone had mentioned, and we just figured making an entire site theme would be easier instead of implementing all of the packages that they have, because obviously the one it has to work with. It has to work with our code. So we just figured doing a theme, then changing the font so that the whole entire website still works as usual, instead of us having to constantly update a package. It would just be built in so that site theme automatically changes all the fonts and stuff like that, and obviously work with the spacing and things like that. So anyway, changing it so for bright colors, a theme, like you mentioned, basically, that's something that we could do. That's easily done.
All right, that sounds awesome. I don't think I had any more points to bring up at the moment, so thank you for having me come on to talk about this. And thank you for listening to us. That means a lot.
Yeah, I mean, no problem. I mean, we're here for everyone in the community, so that includes everything, and we want to make it more accessible, and just everybody being able to enjoy it, no matter what. So, some people, sorry, I'm trying to be careful with my language here, so I don't want to offend anybody. Yeah, I think you understand my point. We're just trying to be.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, we're trying to be mindful. And that's something that I can't really do by myself. So it's we have to do that. I have to reach out to the community as a whole. So thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah, thank you for coming up and volunteering to speak, and of course doing such. And if anything else comes to mind, definitely you can pop back in. You'll remain a speaker in this space. So continue. You can just let me know.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. All right, folks. I'm seeing some of the submissions to the discussion board here that I posted for Anonymous. So I do want to make this clear. This Twitch stream and this Twitter space was designated for accessibility. Unfortunately, I'm not here for the feedback and everything else for the features. This was important for accessibility. Like, I'm sorry, like I'm not saying I'm not going to read these or anything, but if there's anyone that has questions about making InkBlot more accessible, that is this whole thing. That is why we're here. This is the dedicated time for such. Um, so yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not shooting anyone down, but that's why we're up here. Because this is important. We have an entire feedback board dedicated to all the other questions and all the other things and discussion of what we can improve on and things like that. But you know, this is something that needs to be prioritized, is accessibility. So yeah, is there if there's anyone that wants to speak, if there's questions and comments, on the discussion board here that I posted, if there's any of, regarding accessibility and the topic that we have currently at hand, then you can please feel free to post that. So I'm just reading some of these. Okay, so Armadillo has mentioned, I know that a lot of click and highlight things are disabled to protect against art thieves, but for me, highlighting text as I go by often helps me read. Will there be less click locks on text heavy areas in the future? So I do want to mention that it has nothing to do with protecting against art thieves. So yeah. So that has more to do with the fact that there's a bug in the way with the right click. That's genuinely why most obvious things are happen, or why they're not there, is because there's a bug in the way. That's not pretty much 99% of the time. So that right click and I know people mentioning something about like open link in new window and things like that. That's literally because there's a bug in the way, and we're trying to fix it, and we try to fix it literally every update. So we are a small team, so we're trying to do everything in terms of like adding new features, adding and fixing bugs, but then also working on the bugs that is causing another bug and things like that. So I honestly wish that we had time to dedicate to just figuring out the more basic obvious things like right click and highlighting things, but literally it's with the right click there's a bug. Now the highlighting things, I need to go ahead and do another blanket audit basically on that, or review, because there is places where I thought it was already enabled and it is not. So not sure what's going on with that, but the highlighting text, yeah. As for the right click, no, that has nothing to do with art thieves. As much as I do want to protect the community against art thieves, that particular bug is not happening because of that. So yeah, in terms of like copy, I guess save images, that's something that I still need to discuss with the community as a whole. So I know that's there's a lot of mixed feedback when it comes to that. So that's definitely something that we'll have to talk about. But in terms of right window, right click, it's there. It's there in some places, but not in others because of a bug. A dingo says, another suggestion idea similar to CC is to let artists and other creators don't know if this is okay. Well, it's okay. Okay. Another suggestion idea similar to CC is to let artists and other creatives, I'm guessing it's supposed to say assign, alternative text in the images they post. Yes, that's on our feedback board already. Yeah, that's there. We have that one there. That's definitely one on the board already. Okay. A hyena says accessibility for sight impaired. Alternative text is incredibly important for many. A section that is easily seen while making a post for alternative text per media posted would be invaluable. Yeah, yep, that's that again. Something that's on the board. It would just be, sorry, I'm thinking from like a database standpoint right now. Just add that to the post, an area for like an input, and then when viewing as the viewer, something similar to, so now is the alt text on Twitter and Instagram, is that in a good place? Like, is that something that you can see right away? Because then, like, is it in a place that you can that everyone's comfortable with? Because now I have to think about where would we put ours, because they have theirs float above the image, in the bottom right corner. Okay, sorry, I'm getting hung up on the specifics, but yeah, that's something that we can definitely do there. A tricky one to implement, but Violet Spectrum Art says, I know on desktop Twitter it's easy to find with the edit button for alternative text. Okay. Okay, right, and yes, in terms of the download images, that can be a toggle that an artist can turn on. Yeah, that's very true, and that will help with that entire discussion. When we have that discussion. Hyena also says a tricky one to implement, but is there the ability to be able to insert text via voice? I'm not sure if that's an automatic thing for people with alternative devices, but having the ability to navigate the site entirely by keyboard can be a huge accessibility feature. So, Hyena, can you post again? Is there an example? I don't think I've ever. Is there an example of that somewhere? I want to kind of do a little bit more research on that. I mean, first of all, that sounds amazing.
I want to comment on that.
Sure, I'm gonna mute myself.
That is another WCAG thing. If you want to hit the AAA level, is keyboard navigation. I don't have a really good example off the top of my head of a site that works that way, but essentially it's so that whenever the window is highlighted in the browser, hitting tab should make sense as it goes through the links on the site. And there are usually meta tags and things that you can put on things to kind of give preference to where the tab will go, and then being able to hit enter, all that good stuff. That's something that I'm actually looking more into as time goes on with my Tremor, because it makes it harder for me to click, and I use the computer more than I use my app. So, being able to tab around, and then you usually shift tab to go in the opposite direction. If you go too far, you shift tab to go back. So that's something that if you're looking into that WCAG that I mentioned earlier, that should come up.
Awesome. Beautiful. Awesome. Beautiful. That's amazing. Okay. Chat said, do they mean speech to text? And Sydney, I'm guessing that is not what that means.
Speech to text isn't usually to navigate a site with the keyboard, but speech to text is also a good accessibility thing, because again, if you don't have the ability to type well, it can definitely save you. I mean, I'm actually, when I'm chatting, since Twitch is on my TV, I'm actually using the microphone on my TV to type rather than typing each letter with the remote. So it's useful even for people who don't have the accessibility need. It's a convenience.
Right. Right. So that answers the question. So that keyboard navigation is not speech to text. That's purely a totally different feature. Sorry, someone in the chat had that question. Whatchamacallit? With the keyboard, so with the speech to text, since we're on that, there is, from what I know, from my own personal experience, the speech to text that comes with like iPhone and Android, like standard keyboard things, would it be better if we just have our own there? Is that make sense?
I don't use a speech to text other than like my TV, and it does pretty good. And I think that's the standard Google one, honestly, because it's an Android TV.
Right.
I think as long as the app and the web is capable of handling the input from it, like that's just probably something to do as like a check when you're doing dev, is just to make sure that when you use that standard tool, it accepts the input from it.
Okay. I'm like going on there right now because I want to see this. Okay, got it. Okay. I mean, it seems to be doing pretty well, but I'm going to see, I'm going to do a little bit more about what's all involved.
My dogs are going to start barking, so I
You're fine.
don't want them to crash the stream.
No, you're good. Thank you so much. Okay, yeah, so just double checking, because I mean, I see it right here on the app does pretty well, but I think the website would probably need its own. Which then would make it so that we have to ask for permission with mic speak stuff. But obviously, if we have it so that speech to text is something that's in the settings, so that then you would give us permission once you turn that on. Then it's then it's no problem. But we can also just make it so it's always there, because I don't know if it should be like in the settings like that. Definitely something that we need to remember. So permission for mic. So speech to text on web, but double check the app. Okay. So the keyboard navigation was a great one. That's definitely keyboard navigation. Okay. All right. So what else do we have here? Looks like the hyena came back. I know Discord has a feature where you can navigate via shortcuts and arrow keys with only the keyboard. That's off the top of my head. Though you do have to familiarize yourself with the shortcuts and such. Okay. So shortcuts. Okay. So that's probably another thing that goes with that keyboard navigation. Okay. Chat, let me look at you here. What are we talking about? So we have spoiler tags, but in particular, I think what Cryptillion had been talking about was having a totally different one from our creator spoiler.
Yeah, I think that sometimes it can be a bit too broad, because it could be anywhere from like maybe a light blood warning or like a spoiler for my game or something. So that's why I was thinking it could even just be one separate tag that just says content warning, and then like someone I think mentioned photosensitivity, or you could just have it broadly say flashing lights, photosensitivity, and stuff like that. I don't know. I think definitely it should be a separate option from like the other things, just because it could be anything. And I think some people might be tempted to click on it thinking it might be just a spoiler for my game or something like that, and that might cause some problems.
Right, and with the spoiler tags, they all show up before you even open it. So it's not something that's gonna, like, we try to have it so that our creators let us know before you open it. So that's already a thing, in terms of making sure that a few things to let the viewer know before they open it, instead of like a surprise. With the with the spoiler tag for photosensitivity, colors, and the like, flashing, do you think that it would be okay to have it, because these are like, you mentioned photosensitivity, you mentioned I think Setsuna had mentioned epilepsy. is there enough warnings for us to be able to have preset ones so that the user or creators choose from a certain list so that it's like it'll mention like this is a photosensitivity warning, and then this one is like a flashing or epilepsy warning. Would that, because I don't, my thing with that is we already struggle with users having to put content warnings on their things. I don't know, I'm not sure why. It's something that I'm constantly trying to improve and research on, kind of to get into the mind of the user. But leaving that up to them can create pitfalls, you know what I mean? Can create, you know what I mean?
I actually suggested a list in chat, and I know a couple of other people kind of plus one it. I think Violet Spectrum actually just said a list of common ones, and then be able to add more if you want to be more specific. And they actually mentioned something that just came to mind for me is phobias. You know, I have a phobia of a certain kind of insect that I can't even say out loud, or I will start to have a panic attack, and let's not do that on stream. But similar to the NSFW that you've already got, where you kind of have to put 3 things in there. Right. If you had a preset list of like, this is a content warning, and then have that list of like, this is photosensitivity or flashing lights or bright colors or something like that.
Right.
It's still going to be one of those things that will need to be moderated if people miss something and they need to kind of learn that this is something they should be doing. But I think giving them that preset list makes it a little bit easier. Right. And that way people will learn, over time that like, okay, I have to put this under something.
100%. Preset list plus allow for input, for custom input. And I'm thinking that helps because with the current content warnings with the NSFW, there's so many ways to put a warning on something, you know what I mean? But there's only so many ways. So like, some folks, with like, I don't know. Let's just go with gore. Let's not talk about NSFW on the stream right now. But let's go with gore, like light blood. We could make that a preset warning so that someone can mute the light blood content warning, and it would cover all of the light blood ones instead of someone that says light blood as in like light, LITE, and then you have to mute that word, and you have to mute the other terms of that word. If we had a preset list, but then also allowing customized things, I'm thinking that with phobias, with photosensitivity, epilepsy warnings, if we had that, then people can automatically go ahead and turn those off so that any posts that come up with that, because again, having that custom input, allowing that free text is just allowing for so many pitfalls. And I think that this would be something that we would go ahead and just make preset ones plus allow for the free text as well. That way you don't have to count on someone putting in spelling photosensitivity right, you know what I mean, in order for you to mute or block that tag or so forth. Does that make sense?
It does, and I love it.
Okay, cool, good, all right, that's something that we can do then. You just keep climbing up here, huh? Okay, cool. Alrighty. Let me see 1 second. I'm just gonna look at chat here. Photosensitivity, a list of tags, closed captioning is a great idea. Okay, could be added so that only authorized users can download certain images. Correct. I know on desktop Twitter it's easy with the edit button. Yeah, we definitely want to make sure the alt text is easy to see for people to input, but then also easy to see as the viewer scrolling to know that there is the alt text is there on this post basically. I have a question regarding alt text. People have brought up that people can copy alt text for what? Oh, not this. I have a question regarding alt text. People, it's not you, Alcaraz. It's literally just, I never even thought of that. People have brought up that people can copy alt text for AI generator prompts. Of course, we need alt text. I'm not advocating against it, just wondering what can be done against the AI concern. Are these tech bros so insane that they're. Okay. All right. That's a valid concern. I understand. Not going to stop me from doing alt text, but wow. Wow. I didn't think that AI could stoop so low. It's something that I'm going to have to note in there, but I just don't. Do you maybe turn off the copy, the highlight and copy from the alt text? But I don't know if that's going to cause issues for our, actual users and people that don't like AI. But yeah, that's wow. I never thought of using alt text as a prompt generator. You're blowing my mind here. I suggest a list of common ones and then a field list if you want to add ones that are more specific. My weird phobia. Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. Tags and filters is important. Yes. So what Cryptillion brought up and what we're expanding on is that this would be a new filter of its own, and basically something that folks can go ahead and turn off. It's easy. I mean, we have our current filter system. We could just make another one. We did the same thing when we did the creator spoiler. Creator spoiler is literally based off of all the filter systems that we have currently. So it would just be another one. Would love to be able to control the thumbnail size on your profile pages. Okay. Yeah. Hi, Biddy Charms. I know you probably just joined us. Hello. So just everyone, just really quick. Again, this entire discussion is about accessibility. Please, let's just try to stay on topic when it comes to that. We're not trying to, stray from the topic at hand because again, I made a specific, stream for this reason because it is important to do and for us to discuss and go over moving forward, implementing this feedback and implementing and researching these ideas, not even ideas, researching these features is something that I need to do, and it puts me in the right direction. And again, there's some things that I never even heard of and things that I didn't even think about. So this stream is specifically for accessibility. Anything when it comes to improvements or feature requests or things like that, please go ahead to feedback.inkblot.art. You can go ahead and throw that in there. And that's another board that I look at constantly. But again, this stream is just for accessibility features. Let's see. Violet spectrum could be like a tree. You look under phobias. There's a list of common phobias. Yes, we would have to just make our own database of, list of phobias and things like that. But it could definitely be the more common ones. That's definitely something. And then the preset ones is there, but then you also have the free text where you can also mention a phobia if it's not listed. No, it's okay, Biddy. It's okay, Biddy Charms. You're fine. You just got on. Welcome, by the way. Just trying to stay on the topic at hand. You just got in. A lot of stuff is like, what's the word? Subjective. So I don't understand what the discussion in chat is on, but let me look at the discussion forum. We're nearing about an hour and 30 minutes, and I don't know if that is something. Do we have any other questions, any other discussions, topics to bring up? If anyone that's joining us wants to join our Twitter space to be a speaker, you can go ahead and join our Twitter space. I can throw that in the chat. But for right now, I'm not seeing any new topics or questions on our discussion board regarding this. Just want to refresh to make sure. So it's definitely something. Okay. All right. And anyone in chat here? Someone might trigger one. Right. No, I understand. Yeah. So yeah. So it'll be something that we pass through the community. I mean, I don't know how else to stress that. There's really not much that we can do, like in terms of like big things, that we're gonna just implement and be like, we're doing this because we want to. Like, we're a community funded and we're a community space. We're literally got to do a lot of things by just running it by y'all. This whole discussion is me running it by y'all. So community side of things, we need to come to a consensus. Oh yeah, and it's something that I'm gonna bring up. It's something that I'm gonna bring up. Something that I'm gonna bring up in a more like my shoulder just stiffened up. But anyway, yeah. So something that everyone is aware to be able to speak on it and know that the discussion is happening. So, rather than just joining in on a Twitch stream and stuff like that, or a Twitter space, we want to be able to have everyone to talk and discuss and get everyone's light. But, this in particular is not something that I need to run by the community as a whole. So I guess we would tell them, okay, here's a list of common presets that we're going to have for this, this warning tag, basically. Let us know, if there's something a little bit more common that's not here, things like that. But otherwise, everything that we've discussed today is something that we're going to go ahead and start working on. I got to do my research on some of these from what our speakers have spoken about. This is all something that I can go ahead and start making sure that we're compliant with what is known as Web C3 and Web CAG. Is that correct? So that InkBlot is up there and doing what we need to do. So especially because you want to listen to people who raise concerns but don't want to let them speak over other people with the same demographics who don't have the same concern, correct? Yes. You eventually have to make a decision based on gut instinct or based off of what the team thinks while considering community feedback as well. Right. And so again, not like I said, with big things, there's some things that, that's the core of which InkBlot is built on and not based off of the discussion to be had. You know what I mean? Like our content guidelines, that's core. Ain't nobody can pay me enough to change that. I don't care. That the content guidelines is staying exactly where they are. Believe it or not, we literally get emails harassing the team about our content guidelines. So, and I don't care about those, but they're not changing. That's it. They're not going anywhere. That's something that no one can say a lot or say enough for us to change things like that. But in terms of us doing bigger things, like, okay, allowing, us to be able to, go in this direction with how we, move this UI, or, how we allow this to be done and stuff like that. It's not coming off the top of my head on what exactly an example, but there's some things that are just more of a decision from a community standpoint, as I've said, with the downloads, like the save images, the things like that. That's like little stuff that I know from doing this for years, literally almost coming up on 3, that I've had enough feedback from, the community as it's been growing to know that there is varying sides, that there is people that are like, no right click, disable it. And then there's other people who are like, yes, right click. And so, there's obviously we're going to have right click, but there's people mostly about the right click when it comes to saving, downloading, copying images and things like that. So that there's specific topics that I need to run by the community, but we do have our own core mission here and our own core standards and beliefs that no, that doesn't need to be a community decision to be made. But accessibility, that's something that's, it's not like a yes or no. We got to do this. I just want to learn more. That's it. You know, I'm not. I don't want to take the time to speak over anyone here. So, if anyone, let me check the board here. And just make sure that we have everyone in anyone in our Twitter space. If you want to speak, or you can request to speak, it's completely up to you. Anyone that's in the Twitch, you can also join our Twitter space and go ahead and let us know if you want to speak as well. And so yeah, let's see. Okay, so we don't have anything on that discussion board. Actually, Kindle and those things have great ways where they have implemented fonts. You can use, interchange, and use different sizes and margins that make digital reading really nice. And I avoided it so long. Yeah, I mean, we talked about kind of changing the theme and the font for users to be able to pick, which is literally, I mean, I'm gonna see if we can just do that with the next update, to be quite honest. Especially the theme one, because that's, well, that's just thinking about what's all involved. It's really not that much to do. So there's some of these things that I'm going to try to get done by the end of this month, and really pack it in. Of course, there's only 2 of us, but I'm going to see what I can do. If I may try to formulate things a sec. But again, accessibility should be mostly back-end modifications rather than front-end that users need to change behaviors for. Yep. You got to consider your users want to upload and interact and might have it be a job. 10 people who will fight you for something. Wait a minute. I think I'm missing something here in the conversation. Chat, wait a minute. Guidelines are set in stone. If they don't like them, don't join. Couldn't have said anything better. One thing that concerned me is having skins where it changes everything, including the fonts, and I would rather see typeface separate from colors. I might like the colors on the dyslexia ones for being able to see the text, but not. Oh, okay. So, let me write that. Yeah. Okay, so having it, for those in the Twitter space, basically having it so that the site colors, so the theme or site colors are a separate setting from the font settings. So if you want to change it to a specific font, different and not as a package, that is a great point. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Yes, hi honey. You should have a nap. Let's see. If I missed it, apologize. Okay, so how does InkBlot does InkBlot have alternative skins besides light and dark? Something more easier on the eyes instead of the varying bright red. It could be a bit overstimulating. Yeah, so that's definitely what we're talking about. So the site themes would also affect the buttons so that they would be different colors. Because I have had people mention that the red doesn't work. As much as I understand that it's our site logo, I would definitely think that a theme, we can go ahead and change the button colors, especially on mobile as well. So everything that we're talking about today is obviously going to be something that we put on mobile as well, since we code both technically 3 platforms, but I just considered web and mobile as just 2. I like the dark mode with the white text, but the red is overstimulating at times, especially on mobile. Yeah, especially on mobile. I've noticed it myself, and it doesn't typically bother me, but I've noticed it. But again, accessibility is a mix of both. Yes. A lot of accessibility is back end, but plenty have become user-based these days in the case of TWCW, epilepsy warnings and settings, etc. Sorry, Jay, my words aren't working today. You're fine. No worries. You're fine. That's fine. Yeah. Be a job on accessibility with meticulous tagging. So, Tin Can Crab, can you just kind of, I guess, maybe write a paragraph on what you mean? Because I'm not following. Just want to understand what you're talking about. Maybe the solution is allowing a generalized content warning / trigger warning that automatically censors for all who acts in the field form comes in instead of multiple tags. So yeah, that's what we were talking about with preset tags. And that's what we that way, you know, there's only but so many ways that you can skin a fish, right? So if we're able to grab all of those tags for that particular topic, then it'll be listed. And people can go ahead and mute those posts that come up with any photosensitivity or something like that, or it'll go ahead and warn them automatically if they don't mute it. So preset stuff. The most common ones, of course. Like, hey, the subject matter I often post, right? So, I mean, you know, it definitely... What about people with inconsistent triggers? I don't know. Can you expand on that? Like inconsistent triggers? Like one day it doesn't, and one day it does? Oh, I mean, we can try to think of something to help, but I would think that is not, you know what I mean? My thing is you mute it or you don't, and it still gets filtered. Like it still shows up spoilered. That's, you know what I mean? That's the only way that I can think that would be more of like a universal for day to day. So either you have the tag so that it's spoilered, so it becomes blurred, it doesn't show up, instead of muting it so that it doesn't show up, at all. But I think, like Violet said, that's user end. That's not something that we don't know if tomorrow it's inconsistent or it's consistent today, you know? So yeah. The best that we can do is have the spoiler and then also the mute, and if you don't want to mute it, then at least it's spoilered, like blurred. Right, that's the three options that we can do as of right now. Is open, as in it's not blurred as in it's blurred but not hidden, and then hidden as in it's gone, it doesn't show up on your feed at all. Right. I mean, and that's our current filter system right now. We would just do what we do right now. I mean, that's right. That's what we do right now. So, I mean, like again, we would just follow our current filter system. Yeah, this is not. I wouldn't change the framework for this. Let me look at. So I'm just gonna pop the anonymous box in there again. If anybody has a topic to discuss in terms of accessibility, I'm gonna pop that back in the chat again one more time, and we're gonna see maybe about 10 more minutes for the stream or so. And if anyone wants to speak, you can speak on our Twitter space here. But yeah, I'm just gonna pop the. Right, and we would have that we would have that free text area, the free text option. So you can go ahead and put your trigger in there. It would still be there. We're not taking away the free text option. It would always still be there. Yeah, we're not. No, we're not gonna not allow someone to put that in there. Yeah. Let me see. I need to share this one more time. I'm sharing the anonymous box one more time, and just to make sure, because I know it probably got scrolled up. I don't use Twitch often, so I just remembered that we do have like a pinned message thing. So sorry about that. So we have a box. So please, again, let's stay on the topic of accessibility, because that is what we're doing with this stream, and we'll do that manually unpinned or end of stream. Yes. Okay, so yeah, we'll go ahead and have the anon box. If anybody wants to throw in something again in there, let us know a topic about accessibility, so that we can, yeah. Yeah, Tin Can Crab says it's a balance on rules versus suggested etiquette. Yeah, that's exactly, yeah. That happens a lot with what I do, day to day with InkBlot. Cryptillion, you got something? You raised your hand. I can see that.
Yeah. I think something I wanted to say, since people are having a discussion about like the content warnings for phobias and stuff, I think that like my point was more that for when it comes to like things that could trigger serious like medical events, like a seizure or like a migraine, I think that is where it kind of becomes a little bit less subjective, because if something's clearly flashing or has really like high photosensitivity like properties, then that would be more like a medical thing. And not to say that like someone's phobia isn't serious and can't trigger even a medical episode like a panic attack.
Right.
I think that just because of the physical nature of it and the neurological nature of it, that's why I was saying maybe it should be like a separate thing, so that when people are looking for something to censor something for like a medical condition that would set it off immediately, I think that should just be more separate. And then there'd be a separate area for those other content warnings as well, so that by this I mean like with the presets, like I think just the presets can be separate, and it is difficult, because it is really, especially with phobias, it's very subjective, because someone might not even think to tag it. I think it's, in the end though, there's no AI that can just pick up every single thing, so it really is just up to users. But I think giving people the option to be able to do that, and to be able to like give people an option to opt out of seeing those things, that's where it becomes really helpful. Because even I try to avoid things that could trigger a migraine or something every day, but it's inevitable that something might happen, and it's just nice to be able to more so avoid it than not be able to avoid any of it at all, I guess. If that makes sense.
We'd rather the option, for someone to be able to use it, rather than not have the option at all. I understand. And obviously, yes, I do think that, yeah, we're doing this. Or, the phobias is definitely something that can be included. And, as you said, it's not like the phobias don't cause medical issues and things like that. At the top of our list would definitely be the photosensitivity, the epilepsy warnings, such and that. And then the phobias definitely come right behind those. But, again, we're not like, they're both just as important. And making a separate tag for those two things, or those few things, is definitely something separate, instead of depending on the creator's spoiler. But in doing this, we're just kind of hoping that someone will use it so that it's done properly. Because I mean, I do, even on Twitter, posting art on Twitter, I do see some folks that try to tag things, and obviously Twitter is not an art platform, but we do, yeah. But yeah, that was great point to bring up there. I'm glad that you brought that up. Let's see. We have so that way we can, okay, so what if we can become mutuals with someone who will suggest text based on the mutuals? Interesting. What if when you become mutuals with someone, it will suggest tags based on other mutuals triggers, add them to the drop down. So I think that we also have to think from a like community and moderation standpoint is people can use these things against you, right? So someone, for a prime example would be that someone was saying something on Twitter and was like, "Oh, let's protect the minors," right? That whole discussion about minors evading ages and things like that, and getting into adult spaces where they shouldn't be, and an issue that the internet has long since been battling and wielding for years, since even when it started, right? So this is a discussion or a topic that comes up quite often, right? And so this person suggests that we had a badge that lets other folks know when that user is a minor. And my immediate reaction was predators. Like that was just that. I know it was. I was taken aback. I was like, I know that, like, keeping minors out of adult spaces is 100% what we're all about. And clearly we have in our entire filter system, and the fact that we also don't even allow anyone under 16, and then on top of that, the 16 and the 17-year-olds are locked out until they're aged out. You know what I mean? So they can't even see that content or the accounts. But that's our priority. 100% is keeping minors out of adult spaces, right? So we already have that entirely built. And this person suggested that, and I was like, that is terrible. I try to be as gentle or I guess polite and professional as I can while still being down to earth with folks on Twitter. So I'm a very blunt person, but I literally told them, I'm like, no. I told him, I was like, absolutely not. That was probably, I was like, wow. Yeah, we're not, yeah. So again, with the triggers and stuff, letting your mutuals know, and anybody can be your mutual, because they just have to follow you back, right? So it's like, this is the internet. We need to be more mindful, and it's great as it is to let everybody know that maybe you don't like Naruto and Sasuke, the shipping and stuff like that, but letting folks know they can wield those things against you. So that's the moderator. That was just that minor thing was just another situation where I have to think from a moderator and protect the community standpoint when it comes to ideas. So that trigger warning thing just made me think about that, and letting everyone know your list can be just about the same if they've got bad intentions, which I don't think most people have bad intentions, but I have to look out for those things as head of the moderation team. I have to look out for those things. Our safety and trust team, we do our best in terms of that, and definitely not going to make any features that would put someone in trouble. So Twitter has the feature of a reminder to add alt text before posting it finalized. With such a reminder that pops up like, hey, see if your art might include triggers and tag them before your art is uploaded. Same reminder could be done for alt text too. Just an idea. If it makes the upload page too cluttered, that's understandable. Well, first of all, our upload page needs to be revised. And I don't think a reminder is not something that we can't do. So it's definitely something that we can do. And then also, I think that the only thing with that is we would probably just do it every so often. So like maybe let's say every 10th or 20th post or something like that. Probably every 10th, but not every single time that someone uploads. Maybe if not that, then maybe just have like a little bell or whatever kind of pops up. That way um, it's not too I guess intrusive, so that they don't have to click away from anything. It doesn't stop the workflow, but it does still remind them like, hey, just you might want to include alt text, you might want to tag this, you might want to do this, like just make sure that your post has this. So yeah, that's definitely a reminder, would be something that we could definitely do um, to help foster that go-to mindset of, oh, let me think of all, like before I started uploading streams and everything for InkBlot, it was alt text was always something that I would forget after I posted. So but now, like, just doing it a few times, I'm already doing it like repeatedly, like it's the first thing that I think about and stuff like that. So yeah, so basically, 1 second here. Yeah, so basically that's something that we have to do in order to if we have to set a reminder to help kind of make that habit for our creators to be able to be more mindful, then yeah, sure, yeah, I'm all about that. We need to find alt tech that doesn't assist AI scrapers. I mean, yeah, I think the best thing that we could do is probably just cut off the copy paste, but I don't know if that's gonna stop other folks from doing what they need to do. That reminder could be toggled on or off. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we could do it that way where it can be toggled on or off, or we could have it be less intrusive where it's like just a little side, like a pop-up reminder that kind of slowly fades in and then slowly fades out, so that it's not. And it could be every 10th post, things like that. This is exactly why Twitch does not allow anyone to disclose their age. Even my own rules on the community I build as someone who draws more mature content, and that if you're reminded, do not say it, just leave and understand the space is not for you. Exactly, right. Right, and I know, right? So yeah, and that's very true, because I'm like, why we can't have a badge, like forcing, and I said that in the tweet. I'm like forcing users to display their data, or data that is connected to their person, their person or identity. That's literally one way for a lawsuit. Again, there's definitely people that have good intentions and bad ideas. That's it. So nothing against that person. Shout out to them that is trying to just protect the community as a whole, regardless of the age. But that's why we have people like that actually kind of like, okay, wait a minute, let's think about this. Let's think. So yeah, so but yeah, let's see. When a user sees your work, they can suggest trigger tags on your art in case it wasn't tagged. This request should be anonymous, though, so the trigger cannot be used as ammo. Right. I don't like the idea of tags being applied to my work. This seems like it could be a malicious way to haze creators. Very true. And so there was actually something similar to this. So someone mentioned something, I forget. Sorry, the kitten is. I think the kitten locked herself in the bathroom. 1 second. Hey. Yeah, I know you're not supposed to be in there. I know. That's what happens when you go in places you're not supposed to be in. You're not supposed to be in there. So there was actually, I think it was Pixabay or something like that. I think someone mentioned doing it so that we have, they were like just talking about general tags, like a shipping tag or something like that, or adding specific tags to the art in terms of like hashtags, basically. So someone said that you can have it so that the creator can cut off those suggestions. People can submit them to the post as long as the creator has those suggestions turned on. So that's another way. That was another way of doing things. in terms, because we did think about the malicious way that Ewazi has mentioned. Because I thought about that too. I was like, well, what if they just start abusing that suggestion thing? Then that would suck. So there is an actual site that does those suggestions. And just to bring it back to what we're talking about, Awazi. Okay, sorry about that. My bad. But there was a specific site that did talk about doing that. That does that already, but obviously not with what we're talking about in terms of making sure that certain tags are applied. Things like photosensitivity or things like that. That's another good idea. So I'm gonna take a look here at the discussion board and see what we got, if we got any new ones. Okay. Oh, wow. Alrighty. Okay, 3 more. Okay, here we go. These are the last 3, folks. Okay, last 3. Could it be a solution for account settings themselves? As in, artists choose if their blog is sensitivity safe or not. Like, hey, the subject matter I often post may not be safe for all. Even upon reblog shares, it'll post with the warning, blur, spoiler, even post per. Right. Yeah, no, that's something that we can definitely look into, and I'm glad you put that in the discussion board. I know what you mean. I do. I know what you mean. A hyena. Why is everybody a hyena? Why can't we... What happened to the armadillos? So Anonymous Hyena says something about pretty much marking sensitivity. So safe content, or basically not talking about NSFW versus safe for work, but more so like, hey, my blog, or my profile has a lot of this, has a lot of neon colors and things like that. So says someone in the chat says, hey Hyena, that sounds a lot like XKit post block, which is very useful Tumblr feature. I agree. Oh yeah, I'm glad good point. I'll look up at the XKit and I'll see what they do and how they do that. Another hyena says, in addition, individual users can be spoiled. Oh, okay, this is the same one. Individual users can be spoiled or spoilered on the user, even if they choose instead of just a mute option for some reasons mentioned before. This would help with a lot of things, or even individual users who tag themselves as spoilered can be unspoilered per user. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm glad you're having fun up here, hun. Sorry, my cat is climbing my chair. That's definitely good points there. Then they also mentioned this would help folks who utilize bright colors, moving media, flashing imagery commonly on the back end. It automatically adds those tags to post by default for the poster to toggle on or off. So I think we'll go ahead and, in terms of, basically step by step, or, how we should approach this filter system, is go from making the filter system, the preset options that from users to choose from, allowing that free text input so that we can make sure that we're not just being, we're not alienating anyone in their phobias or triggers. Making sure that the epilepsy warnings and the photosensitivity, the migraine inducers are basically there. Making sure all that preset stuff is there, and then we'll go ahead and start working our way to see if any of the profiles can be also into this type of common category with the bright colors, moving media, flashing imagery stuff. And that sounds like a good game plan, yeah? And I mean, this is just one filter system. I mean, we still have the keyboard navigation, the speech to text, the themes, that's still all, this is just me talking about the filter system, since that's a little bit more, hands-on. Because that's something that we have to make ourselves, you know what I mean? Because it's not, what do you call it? It's not something that we can just, it's like pre-built or anything. Like, our filter system is pretty, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think our filter system is pretty unique in terms of, like, the content warnings and stuff like that. But yeah. So we'll make that as a separate system. We talked about adjustable text. Yes, we did. Yes. you can adjust your entire browser's zoom. I don't think we talked about that, but we definitely have to talk about that because I do know that some folks have mentioned the zoom on our website. But definitely, like, yeah, it's not easy on web app stuff, but something that we can look into. Yeah. Let me write that down really quick. Okay, and then web app zoom, and then all right, and I think that's it, folks. We're hitting 2 minutes before 2 hours. I figured that this would be long, and so I planned for it to be long. So yeah, I'm super happy to get this discussion. Again, I apologize for if I misspoke or if there was any if I used any wrong phrasing terms or addressed anyone incorrectly when it comes to this stream here. I'll be more mindful of that. And then obviously also going ahead, we'll make our own accessibility article for InkBlot, and we'll definitely need a sensitivity reader for that as well. Sensitivity readers, I'm probably going to start reaching out to folks with reaching out to folks for sensitivity reading a little bit more because I'd rather have someone read it over to make sure that we're all good to go and we're being inclusive and respectful. We have, I believe there are I'm so sorry, I cannot. Dyslexia friendly fonts out there too, though. I don't know if y'all already picked one. We have not. So that was one that's on the feedback board, and there was some pretty heated comments about that one. Not towards us, but about which font to choose. So we'll have a list of which fonts that folks want, and more than one to choose from. So yeah. But yeah, I did want to ask and see, what do you think it would be to our, I guess, as a community, to our advantage of having an accessibility council, like folks that automatically that we go to and talk to and stuff like that. Basically, just folks that are willing to just join our council, let us know. Just a few folks, you know what I mean? A chat that we're able to go into and kind of like, hey, folks, this is what we're doing. This is what we're adding to the site. Like, let us know, basically, and able to kind of, essentially, we'll allow them to give us feedback on that. But not only that, but test in order to make sure before we push out that they'll be their own dedicated exclusive thing. So what do you folks think about that? Because that was something I was thinking about, but I didn't want to act on just yet. Let's see. Okay, I see a couple of yeses in here. So yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a huge council. It would probably be even as easy as just a little Discord chat channel, so that we have somewhere to go and we can stay in contact, stay in touch. Definitely would be something that we can go ahead and we can go ahead and let there's no requirements to get in. If you want to get in and you want to help to get on the council, you want to help us and to make sure that we're going in the right direction with everything we go moving forward, then that'd be great. Obviously suggestions, feedback, and anything else like that. That way we have our own dedicated council to make sure that we're being compliant. And as Setsuna had mentioned earlier, there's a rating, and I'm gonna try to make sure that InkBlot is AAA rating. So that we are compliant and have all of our accessibilities features up front and ready to go. So, but yeah, no problem. Thank you guys so much for coming out, watching the screen, joining in on the discussion. I really enjoyed it. Right. So again, this is an accessibility stream. So I'll answer all questions and everything. You can pop into our Discord and everything, and let us know if you have any questions or things like that, or onto the feedback.inkblot.art. So yeah, this is for accessibility again. But yeah, if you thank you so much for joining the stream, everyone. Go ahead, give us a follow on this channel. This is where we do our community halls. We do our town halls here, where we allow all of our users to hear about like what have we been up to, like what's the finances looking like what are you guys doing right now. So we do those quarterly, and we host those here on this Twitch here. So yeah, you give us a follow here on this channel, or just keep up to date on our Twitter, and we always make sure that everyone knows when we're doing those things, to basically make sure that y'all know what's going on, because we're community funded, and that's where you guys should know what we're doing and what we're up to, and that's pretty much how that goes. The transparency is 100% what we focus on and prioritize, and we're just doing things. We're just doing exactly what we're supposed to. That's what you're supposed to do when it comes to a space like this, and it's community space, something that's built for the community. It's supposed to be transparent, because I mean, we're building it for the community. We're serving the same folks that we consider ourselves a part of. So, there's nothing to hide. There's nothing to put under the table with this, So, those community halls are just another way to get to know the team, get to know us, kind of see what we're doing, what we're up to. Okay. So, let's see. Appreciate you. Thank you for having us. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time, folks. And for those of you in the Twitter space that spoke, thank you so much for speaking, especially in front of other people. I know that's a big thing. You should get a pat on the back for that 100%, because it is not easy. So, yeah, other than that, I think this is good. We're going to wrap it up. It'll be a recording. So, yeah. Everybody already knew about that, but hey, I'll see you folks out there. We have our Discord. You can join that. We have a bunch of discussions all the time about things regarding InkBlot and moving forward, and making sure that we're thinking about from different perspectives, and obviously not everything is a one size fits all. So we got to make sure that we're doing it. So thank you so much for your support, y'all. You guys have a great evening. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and I will see you out there.